der 6 Sven Bender gegen die 7 Moritz Leitner mit der 8 Toni da Silva.
Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to everyone joining us from around the world on this very, very special day, a very special occasion for Dortmund fans and an extremely special occasion for this historic venue to celebrate 100 years of the Rote Erde Stadium and to pay tribute to the 1963 European Cup tie between Borussia Dortmund and Benfica Lisbon, the second leg of which was one of the most famous games in Dortmund's history at the Rote Erde Stadium. So it's a repeat of the game of the century and a fantastic evening of Legends football to look forward to, right next to and in the shadow of the world famous Signal Iduna Park. But before there was a Signal Iduna Park, before there was a Westfalen Stadium, there was the Rote Erde Stadium, which has so much history, not just with football, but with a plethora of sports, and has seen upsets, celebrations, everything in between. It means a lot to the people here in Dortmund. It means a lot to those in Germany. And is the perfect venue for what should be a fantastic game between the legends of two of Europe's biggest in the business. Borussia Dortmund up against Benfica Lisbon. It was the 4th of December back in 1963, the second leg of the European Cup round of 16 against Benfica, who at the time were two-time European champions and considered one of the best, if not the best team in Europe. Dortmund trailing by a goal. Benfica winning the first leg 2-1 at home, so work to do for BVB in that second leg. And the black and yellows, who on the day were wearing golden shirts for the game, went on to win 5-0. One of the most famous wins in Dortmund history and one of the most remembered wins when it comes to action here at the Rote Erde Stadium. Well, plenty of legends in attendance here today, both for BVB and for Benfica. Some of the biggest names in the club's histories out on the pitch here today, ready to put on a show for the fans here in this iconic stadium. A stadium not just the home of football, but has had plenty of other sports take centre stage here in the Rote Erde Stadium. The likes of field handball, world championships were played here back in the day. Cycling, which for a time was even more popular than football back in the days. The stadium also the place where the famous race Rund die Rote Erde took place on the racetrack surrounding the pitch, and also has a rich history when it comes to athletics. Was the home and training ground of two-time Olympic champion Annegret Richter. Not only went on to win medals at the Olympics, but plenty of domestic honours secured here as well. The Rote Erde Stadium, also the place where BVB celebrated their biggest ever derby win over Schalke back in 1966, a 7-0 victory, and played here all the way until 1974 when they moved to the Westfalen Stadium. It is a pitch and stadium still used by Borussia Dortmund. Their under-23s play here, their women's team also plays here, and have done so for the past 5 years, playing their first game 5 years ago against 1860 Munich. Have had crowds of 10,000 plus for derbies against Schalke, 15,000 plus in a cup game against Bayern Munich's women's team. Have enjoyed 4 promotions in recent times, now just 2 away from making it to the Bundesliga. And one would think those crowds will only get bigger and increase with Germany legend Alexandra Popp set to join BVB's women's side in the summer. But now, time to get down to this legend spectacle here as the players make their way out on the pitch. BVB led out by goalkeeping legend Roman Weidenfeller, a 45-year-old with a rich history at the club. Total of 16 years in black and yellow between 2002 and 2018. A whole bunch of other legends in attendance here as well. The likes of Kevin Grosskreutz, Dede Socrates, no Mats Hummels today, sadly. Former BVB defender falling ill just before the game, so unable to take part today, which will upset a few fans, I'm sure. But plenty of other big names to look forward to here, the likes of the big Czech number 9, Jan Koller. Not to mention Mohamed Zidane, Nelson Valdez, Antonio da Silva, Marcel Schmelzer. The list just keeps on going and going. There we see Socrates as well, with that famous number 25 on the back of his shirts. BVB all in black here for this Legends game, but Benfica bringing some big names to the party themselves. Some which I'm sure a few of you will still know, the likes of Javier Saviola, the Argentinian striker, Konstantinos Mitroglou, the Greek forward, not to mention Nicolas Gaitan and others, Ljubomir Fejsa. Players coming together to take a picture here before we get down to the action here in Dortmund. Now the BVB legends coming into this game in good form. Have been busy in 2026 already. The Legends Cup in Munich at the start of the year in January, going extremely well. The SAP Garden in front of 10,000 fans. Dortmund taking care of Celtic Glasgow and Real Madrid in the group stage, and beating Juventus 5-2 in the semi-finals before a 3-2 victory over Real Madrid, securing the 2026 Bayern Legends Cup. And for those of you excited about this encounter, there's more to come in just a few days' time. The Dortmund legends travelling to England to take on Steven Gerrard and company, up against the Liverpool legends, with some big names in that game as well. So definitely a great way to enjoy the international break. Incredible to think that the stadium opened all the way back in 1926 in the heart of Dortmund, still in use today 100 years later. Bratwurst, beer and Borussia. So the action underway here in this stadium, designed originally by Hans Strobel back in 1924. Construction starting in 1925. And then interestingly enough, had two opening ceremonies, once on the 6th of June in 1926, which was for the so-called bourgeoisie, parts or branch of government and society, and then on the 13th of June for the Communist and Workers' Party, or branch of government and society. Neither wanted too much to do with the other at the time, therefore two opening ceremonies. The name Rote Erde Stadium, directly translated into English, actually means Red Earth Stadium, but the Rote, the word for red when translated, doesn't actually come from the colour. It has more to do with the area and how it came to be a long, long time before the stadium was even considered. The land here covered by forest. Locals in the area discovered a type of rock in the ground within that forest that could be heated up and then held that heat extremely well, was then used to heat homes in the area. And then the entire forest and the earth was cleared. The word for that in German is gerodet, and that's where the Rote comes from. It's actually the cleared earth stadium, if you want to really hone in on the original use of the word. The stadium was then renovated in 1953. The introduction of European football here. A game against Manchester United, which first introduced evening games as well. It's when the floodlights were introduced for the very first time. In 1963, the Bundesliga came about. Dortmund played their first home game here against 1860 Munich. Easy catch there for Weidenfeller. Just over 3 minutes gone. Benfica starting well here. Ball forward from Patrick Owomayela, the 46-year-old. Spent 5 years with BVB, a real fan favourite during his time here. Fantastic tackle there from the Brazilian Erde. 47 years of age, still more than happy to get stuck in. Never ceases to amaze with these legend games that you can take the professional out of the game, but you can't take the game out of the ex-professional. Still extremely competitive, still that desire and hunger to win. Lovely ball out wide with the outside of the right boots. Cross whipped in by Argentinian Nicolas Gaitan. Spent 6 seasons with Benfica. Nico Gaetan with the corner here from this near side. In towards the near post. The header just wide in the end though by Carlitos. 43-year-old striker. Does well to get ahead of the defender but can't guide it on target. There's Jörg Heinrich, player coach here with the Legends team. One of the older players within this squad. First real drive forward from Borussia Dortmund. This comes in, not really dealt with by Benfica. Another delivery into the box. Mladen Petric, the number 10, closest to it. The ball in from Lee Young-pyo, the South Korean 48-year-old. Played for Dortmund from 2008 to 2009. Oh, what a legend on screen there, Paul Lambert. Also didn't have the longest time at Borussia Dortmund, but the time he did have was remembered fondly by Dortmund fans. Slightly misplaced pass there. Picked off easily by Sven Bender. Fantastic turnout here as well at the Rote Erde Stadium. Long range efforts into the stands there. Weidenfeller sends the ball upfield. What a goalkeeper he was for Borussia Dortmund. Joined from Kaiserslautern all the way back in 2002. Retired with BVB. World Cup winner with Germany in 2014. Two-time German champion with Borussia Dortmund in 2010 and 11, as well as the 2011 and 12 season. Two-time cup winner as well. Two-time Super Cup winner with Dortmund. He's considered by many Dortmund fans as one of, if not the best goalkeeper to ever don the shirts. Ball out wide to Gaetan. Fizzes one into the box. Unable to find the intended targets. Yes, Saviola. Awamoyela looking for options. Good contest between these two so far. Lambert. Awamoyela. Dortmund knocking the ball around nicely here. Awamoyela under pressure. Ball stays with Dortmund. Lambert with the outside of the right boot. Shows that he's still got it. As mentioned before kickoff, the Rote Erde Stadium wasn't always the home of football. At one point, had over 52,000 people here. Not to watch football, but to enjoy boxing, believe it or not. There's a new record attendance at the time. European champion Heinz Neuhaus taking on German champion Heintenhoff back in 1952. One of 6 big boxing matches that took place here. Gaetan seeing a lot of the ball. Little through ball chance here for Benfica to take the lead. It's a cheeky little dink. What a fantastic clearance there from Jörg Heinrich, the 56-year-old, getting back to clear the ball off the line. It's won back really well. And then João Thomas with the little chip to put it over Weidenfeller, but Jörg Heinrich still with plenty left in the tank, it would seem. Does well to keep it at 0-0. Gaetan. Will be another Benfica corner. You have to say the visitors from Portugal, probably with the better start here. Would have been a fantastic goal from João Thomas there. Jörg Heinrich wide awake. It's a bit of a sloppy pass from that corner to break here. Urged forward by the fans here in the Rote Erde Stadium. Heinrich unable to find Großkreuz out wide. Kevin Großkreuz, one of the only players still playing, perhaps not at the top level, currently with TuS Eichlinghofen. So whipped in by Leitner. Didn't quite get enough height on that one. Was played in just slightly behind his teammates in the box as well. Just over 14 minutes gone, still 0-0 here. Dortmund yet to create any clear-cut chances going forward. Benfica, the more dangerous in the final third so far. Still early doors here. Eliseo. Now Fazer. Socrates still moves extremely well. At 37, one of the younger players in this BVB Legends team. Karagunis plays it back. Now Gaitan. Slightly heavy first touch there from Carlitos Garcia. Lovely switch of play out wide, brought down by Kevin Grosskreutz. Floated forward by Heinrich. Wide from Sven Bender. Early ball into the box. Mladen Petric doing his best to get on the end of it. That's Artur, the Brazilian 45-year-old, in between the sticks for Benfica. Gets off his line just quickly enough. The original stadium back in 1926, built with sandstone from the Ruhr area here. There's somewhat of a myth that goes along with it. It's said to, every 8 to 10 years, changes its character and appearance. Makes some believe that the sandstone here is almost alive, if you like. And when it does change its appearance, be that in colour or whatever else, it's to bring back the beauty and help those who visit the stadium realise its beauty once more. At least that's the way the saying goes in this area. It's a stadium that has seen a lot of change, a lot of renovations, of course. It's hit 96 times during bombings in the Second World War. Still standing here today, and thankfully so, because it means we can watch these two Legends teams go head to head.
Attention
Floated in. Not enough on that header from Sven Bender. Just getting underneath it rather than attacking it, but put under pressure well. Header away by Awomayela. Lamberts. Petric just can't get there again. I think he's complaining to the referee that it was a back pass to the keeper. I think he's got every right to complain there as well. Arthur not bothered whatsoever, smothers the ball. The play continues. Is of course a friendly, remember. Put out of play by Socrates. Huge fan favourite at Borussia Dortmund. Joined from Werder Bremen back in 2013. Spent 5 years at Dortmund before making the move to Arsenal in the Premier League. And then returning to Greece with Olympiacos. Finished his career in Spain with Real Betis. Did play for some big clubs, the likes of AC Milan as well on his CV. No-nonsense defender. Socrates, you always knew you were going to get at least 100% from him, sometimes even more. Passion for the club and desire to win in each and every contest was made him a real fan favourite. And he's the ball back. Tomasz, great sliding tackle there. Socrates, how many times have we seen him do that in a Dortmund shirt over the years? Just gets enough on it. Full stretch. Another corner to Benfica. A really inviting cross there, but well defended by Dortmund. All the way back to Arthur. No limits on substitutions here this evening, so I expect plenty of changes throughout the game. Benfica on the move here. Gaitan powering forward down the middle, spreads it out wide, and then the cross in towards Tomasz. An absolutely sublime one, but the diving header. Not sure if he gets any contact on the ball there. I do think it just glances off the top of his head. Yeah, just can't guide it towards goal though. I think Weidenfeller would have been in trouble. Best chance of the game so far. Lee back to Lamberts. Looking for options. Lovely close control from the Scottish midfielder. Here's Leitner. Lee with the cross. Mladen Petric with the header. To really bulldoze his way in front of the defender there. Does really well to make contact with the ball, but it's always going to be difficult to get the placement right, off balance. Saviola coming back from an offside position. Whistle goes. Erde not impressed. The Dortmund players not happy with the decision here. Let's get a closer look at this. I think it does come off the left arm of Erde there, but he did have his hands down by his side, which I think is what he's trying to explain to the referee. Definitely weren't in an unnatural position, if you like. And I think he can complain all he wants. It's not going to change things here. So Benfica with a penalty in the 27th minute of the first half, and a chance to break the deadlock. Roman Weidenfeller in between the sticks. Georgios Karagounis can't find a way past BVB shot stopper. He's still got it. What a stop from Weidenfeller there. Justice served, perhaps. Well, I'll let you guys decide that. I think Erde definitely feel that way. Has just spiced things up a little though. Tempo of the game is on the up, especially from Benfica. Heinrich not giving up on it just yet. Does well to run the ball away from danger, but then hands it back to the Portuguese side. Have looked the more dangerous in this first period of play. Pass picked off by Petric. Can't find a way past Jardel Vieira, the Brazilian defender. As Gaetan has seen a lot of the ball in this first half. Benfica number 10. Saviola with the layoff. Georgios Karagounis, captain of Greece, and they famously won the European Championships against all odds. A legend, not just with Benfica, but in his homeland of Greece especially. Stopped from the penalty spot by Weidenfeller though. Here's Gorskoits powering forward down the left wing for BVB. Under pressure, manages to hold on to the ball. Spreads it out wide to Lee. Lee whips one in! And it's put just wide by Sven Bender, I believe, at the back post. Fantastic ball there from Lee Young-pyo. South Korean just puts his head up, has a look, sees Bender making the run. Perhaps just a little too much power behind that ball. Does make it a little more difficult for Bender. There is the big man, Jan Koller. Sure, plenty inside the stadium. I'll be eager to see him out on the pitch again. Absolute colossus up front. And what a player for Borussia Dortmund. 61 Bundesliga goals in his career. Don't get much more legendary than Jan Koller. Carlitos Garcia goes down for a challenge just after putting the ball into the box. Again, it's Erde who's involved. And Carlitos is staying down here. He does get caught right on the ankle there from the Brazilian. Not sure if that was just inside the box as well. I think it was, you know, on the line. So Benfica awarded a penalty that probably wasn't one, and not awarded one that was quite clearly one, I think. Nico Gaetan, fans in the crowd as well. A good amount of Benfica fans have made the journey. Which is great to see. Here's Lee. Caught by Ilishau. Lamberts, the ball inside, finds its way through to Lee. Shifted onto his left, another good looking delivery. Petric tries to lay it up to Leitner, just over his shoulder, but didn't quite get enough mustard on it. Leitner picking up the pieces with Sven Bender intercepting the pass. And Dortmund will have a corner. Leitner to take it. No Jan Koller to aim at the moment. Arthur came out looking to punch the ball away. And Lee sends it back in. Benfica struggling to get the ball away. Leitner will keep it in play. In comes another cross in towards the near post. Koits. He could have done better there. Thumbs up for the delivery. I think his header comes off at Sven Bender, who is then already in an offside position. Norbert Dickel there. One of the coaches of the Legends team. Former Dortmund player, club legend, both on and off the pitch. He's known as the stadium announcer these days, and the referee brings a close to the first 35 minutes here in the Rote Erde stadium. Nothing to separate the two sides, mostly thanks to that man, Roman Weidenfeller, saving the Karagunis penalty to keep things at a 0-0. Dortmund improving towards the end of that first half, but still trying to create clear-cut chances. Nothing to write home about just yet, but a very entertaining first half here between these two legend sides, and plenty still to look forward to in the second half, where plenty of changes will be made, and we might get our opening goal as well. Grab yourself a snack, a drink, and make sure you get back in time for that second half in just a few.
Spiel zwischen BVB und Benfica, Spielstand 0:0. Dann kann in 2 Minuten sicherlich noch nachgelegt werden. Ich freue mich jetzt aber, Vertreterinnen und Vertreter von den beiden Mannschaften hier zu haben, die quasi hier zu Hause sitzen, den BVB-Frauen. Dieter Schumacher, Spielerin, Geschäftsführerin Svenja Schlecker ist da, von der U23, Trainer Daniel Hirst und Michael Eberbein. Ich mache mal Gentleman Ladies first. Svenja, ich habe das Gefühl, heute entfacht dieses alte Haus wieder so seinen ganzen Zauber. Wenn man so eine zweite Rundschau, viel schwarz-gelb, das kennt ihr von den BVB-Frauen. 2 Derbys ausverkauftes Haus, die Zecke gegen Bayern. Wie hast du diese Spiele hier für ausverkauften Haus erlebt?
Naja, natürlich immer voller Stolz und mit hier und da mal noch auch bekommen, weil das einfach eine große Wertschätzung ist. So viele schwarz-gelbe Fans, die ins alljährliche Stadion kommen und egal wer hier im schwarz-gelben Trikot spielt, anfeuern.
Überhaupt, ihr seid jetzt seit 5 Jahren quasi hier zu Hause. Wie glücklich seid ihr als Abteilung, die Spielerinnen, dass man hier so eine Heimstätte hat, weil ich bekomme das auch ein Stück weit mit, selbst so Gastmannschaften laufen immer mit dem Handy rein und freuen sich, dass sie hier spielen dürfen.
Genau, also ich glaube, wir sind alle jedes Mal sehr ehrfürchtig, aber enorm dankbar, hier spielen zu dürfen, weil es nicht sehr viele Mannschaften so zweit wird und daher freut uns jedes Mal, wenn jeder Ball rollt für uns.
Dann Frage an Dieter Schumacher, neu in dieser Saison, auch ausgewählt, darf man gerne erzählen, am Wochenende hier zu Hause gegen Recklinghausen eingewechselt worden, im Sondertrikot 3 Tore gemacht. Dieter, du hast aber auch schon Champions League gespielt, in Barcelona, bei Manchester City. Trotzdem, was macht für dich so das Besondere? Wie ist es hier bei der Zuschauerzahl bei den Frauen auch über 1500 im Schnitt? Wie ist es für dich, hier in der Roten Erde zu spielen?
Es ist auf jeden Fall was ganz Besonderes. Also ich glaube, das Stadion hat sehr viel Historie und vor allem die Fans, wenn die da sind, die machen es immer zu ganz besonderen Spielen.
Sehr schön. Dann wechsle ich auf die andere Seite, Daniel. Du hast hier gespielt. Erstes Spiel, erinnerst du dich ans erste Spiel?
Mein erstes Spiel, U19, glaube ich, Finale in Bayern München. Nach dem Rückschießen haben wir gewonnen und sind deutscher Meister.
So, also schon ein schönes erstes Spiel jetzt als Trainer hier. Was macht für dich den Reiz damals wie heute noch dieses alte Stadion aus?
Ja, die Spiele, die hier stattgefunden haben, einfach, es ist einfach schön hier zu spielen, gerade mit Fans. Viel Geschichte und ja, es ist einfach eine schöne Stadt. Wir freuen uns jedes Mal hier zu Hause zu spielen und ja, direkt neben dem anderen Stadion ist es ganz besonders hier zu spielen.
Ich kann dich kurz auch fragen, wir haben gerade eben schon losgeschnackt, dein erstes Spiel, jetzt weißt du es wieder, ne?
Ja, jetzt kann ich mich wieder erinnern, du hast mir ein bisschen geholfen. Ja, es war leider eine knappe Niederlage gegen Erde. Ja, wieso die Niederlage zusammen war, das kannst du nicht.
Ich weiß ja nicht, ist das gerade draußen? Nee, also nur sagen, es stand 0:1, als er eingewechselt worden ist, dann haben wir einen Ausgleich gemacht. Kevin Großkreuz war der Meinung, noch ein Eigentor erzielen zu müssen, aber die Pferde 1-2 verloren. Aber Michael, seitdem sind über 100 Spiele für dich in der Roten Erde dazugekommen. Ist jetzt im 7. Jahr von hier. Was ist für dich das ganz Besondere an diesem Stadion?
Ja, also zum einen ist vor allem die Lage neben dem großen Stadion, das ist ja schon sehr besonders. Wir dürfen uns auch immer in der Kabine umziehen, jetzt im Nationalpark. Und dann hier rüber zu kommen, hier reinzukommen, ist immer wieder was Besonderes. Ja, es ist einfach ein schönes Stadion. Wir freuen uns auf jedes Heimspiel hier und es macht immer wieder Spaß.
Sehr schön, dann sage ich euch erstmal vielen lieben Dank, dass ihr euch die Zeit genommen habt hier in der Pause. Möchte aber natürlich euch einmal, wenn wir schon mal hier so eine große Kulisse haben, noch mitgeben. Jetzt am Sonntag die BVB-Frauen wieder gegen Deutsch und die U23 und das solltet ihr wirklich merken. 4.4. der Tabellenvierte Borussia Dortmund gegen den Tabellenführer von Köln. Also absolutes Spitzenspiel hier in der Roten Erde, 2 Termine. Wir hoffen, möglichst viele von euch wieder hier begrüßen zu dürfen. Vielen lieben Dank euch und jetzt uns allen noch eine schöne zweite Halbzeit.
So a very, very warm welcome back to everyone joining us here as we continue to celebrate 100 years of the Rote Erde Stadium here in Dortmund. The bad news is that one half is already done and dusted. The good news is that we have another 35 to come, and those 35 include the legend Jan Koller. The big Czech number 9 is out on the pitch, as are Marcel Schmelzer and Mohamed Zidane, but Jan Koller especially, one that I personally am looking forward to seeing in action again. The 52-year-old legend from BVB spent 4 years with the club from 2001 to 2006. Remembered for his goals as a striker, but some will remember him for his short period as a goalkeeper for Dortmund as well. Back in 2002, November 9th to be precise. Lehmann in goal at the time for Dortmund, sent off in the 67th minute, and so Jan Koller stepped up, put the gloves on, and got himself in between the sticks, keeping a clean sheet, making 3 big saves as well. Did actually play as a goalkeeper during his youth football times before transitioning into the striker role. Put together a fantastic display, was even named in the top 11 of the weekend by the German news outlet Kicker at the time, wearing the captain's armband as well, and rightfully so. I have to say, it's refreshing to see the amount of black boots out on the pitch as well. I remember even in my day, you might get 1 or 2 players with a white pair. Not like today. Every colour of the rainbow seems to be out on the pitch when it comes to boots. Yellow, pink, and everything in between. There is Marcel Schmelzer. What a left back he was. 38 years old now. Joined Dortmund's under-19s back in 2005 and then retired at Dortmund. 17 years at the club. What a career and what a player he was. Socrates and Heinrich. Still the partners in crime in central defence. Here's Mohamed Zidane. Real tricky playmaker in his day. Mohamed Zidane, the Egyptian magician, now 44 years old. Spent 4 years with Dortmund between 2008 to 2012. Was a big part of the club's success during that time. And there is the other number 9, not Jan Koller, but Nelson Valdez, 42-year-old from Paraguay. Another player that had fans on the edge of their seats during his days with Dortmund. Here's Zidane. Lines up the shot, able to get the shot off balance. And going to ground, unable to find the target. Didn't miss by much though. Just couldn't quite wrap his boot around it. Here's a change in goal for Dortmund for this second half as well. Australian Mitchell Langerak now in between the sticks for BVB. Dortmund on the move, Jan Koller looking to get his head on the end of that delivery. Didn't have much of a jump at it, but still able to get close. Here's Socrates bulldozing forward. Antonio da Silva, number 8, also out there for the second half. Here's Tomasz for Benfica. Plays it off to Fernandes. Out wide to Silvio. And then miscontrol by Manuel Fernandes. 40-year-old midfielder. Spent 10 seasons with Benfica as a professional. There is Langerak. There's quite the list of accolades under his belt as a Dortmund player, Mitch Langerak. Joined BVB in 2010 from Melbourne Victory, which is also where he ended his career in 2025. Two-time German champion with Dortmund, cup winner as well, two-time Super Cup winner. Not too shabby for the Australian shot stopper. Here come Benfica down the right, whipped in but dealt with well. Now Fernandes. Saviola. Lovely little flick from Saviola there. And now the chance for the opening goal. And it is Javier Saviola, the Argentinian, at 44 years of age, showing that he's still got it at the heart of the build-up with a lovely little back heel. And that 1-2 with Fernandes. It's actually Almeida. He whips it into the middle. Great control from Saviola, and then hits it into the ground on its way in to make life difficult for Langerak in goal. That really was a sublime little centre forward. Javier Saviola, during his time not just with Benfica but in Argentina and a long list of other teams as well. Oh, 44 years of age, proving that class is forever. Weidenfeller watching on, probably thinking, I'd have kept that one out. It was a difficult one for Mitch Langerak though, especially on a slippy surface. Anything coming in off the ground is always going to be really difficult to contend with. So Benfica, the 1-goal cushion. Just under half an hour still to go here in the Rote Erde Stadium. Tomasz, a heavy touch, picked up by Gaetano. He's muscled off the ball fairly, according to the referee. Has really been a physical contest between these two. Even if it is just a friendly, you can see both teams desperate to get the win. Karagunis unable to control that one. As Lee picks up the pieces. Back with Socrates. Schmelzer in space, wants the ball. Instead, back out onto the right for Lee. There's Jan Koller. Hold up play from the big number 9. The other number 9 now. Equally impressive. There's close control there. Jörg Heinrich ventures forward. Floats one in. His weaker left foot chested down. Now Jan Koller in the box. Just playing it in behind Mladen Petric there. He's never going to be shrugged off the ball there, the big man. Sadly, BVB unable to take advantage of what looked like a very promising situation there. Here's another look at the only goal of the game. Almeida with the ball inside. Saviola controls it off the chest and volleys it into the ground and into the back of the net in style. Classy goal from a classy striker in his day. And wonderful pictures seeing the likes of Saviola celebrating with legends like Karagounis. It's what makes games like this so special. And still plenty of time for Dortmund to set things straight again. Here is Lee. Still looks incredibly fit. "48 years old. Still moving like he's in his early 30s. Valdez, Antonio Silva tries to sort of slip it through to Jan Koller there. He's in line and onside, but unmarked. Last-ditch defending by Benfica there to deal with the situation. Fernandes. Out wide to Silvio. Gaetan does well to stay on his feet under pressure. Almeida. Benfica finding a lot of time and space to work with on this right wing. Fernandes with a little back heel. Lovely close football here from Benfica. BVB crowding the penalty area. Enough to deal with it initially, but Karagounis looking to keep the pressure on. Swings it out to the left. Long range effort. It might take a while to find that one. Eliseo entertaining his side's bench. We know he can hit them. It's one to forget there, perhaps. The 42-year-old. Koller chests it down. Antonio Silva. Now Lee. Stopped in his tracks. One back by Koller. How's he done? Rebound comes his way. Fires it straight into the Benfica defender though, and now the break is on. On the side from Lisbon. Saviola, the goal scorer. Holds it up, floats one into the back post. And Karagounis unable to control it. Just runs underneath the studs of his right boot there. Would have only had Langerak in goal to beat had he been able to bring the ball down. But another chance goes begging for the visitors from Portugal. regardless of how things end here in this friendly. You have to give credit to both sides who've really put a whole lot of effort into their performances and have made this a really, really entertaining Legends game. It's far from over. And if you have enjoyed what you've seen here this evening, good news is BVB Legends in action again in just 3 days' time. We travel to Anfield to take on Liverpool Legends, including the likes of Steven Gerrard and company, Ryan Babel, as well as Dirk Kuyt, and plenty others, just to name a few. From outside the box from Antonio Silva with just not enough pace and power behind it. Easy stop in the end. Bruno Costa. Now in goal for Benfica in the second half, replacing Artur. Dede watching on from the bench now in the second half with Marcel Schmelzer now in the left back position. Karagunis, he's always got something to say to the referee. Nice to see that some things never change. Benfica bringing on Thiago Gomes as well as Pedro Manturas. Pedro Manturas, former number 9. From Angola, 39 goals in the Liga Portugal during his time as a professional. So more firepower up front for the visitors. And Eliseu will make way for Thiago Gomes. Pedro Manturas will be a player to keep an eye on. He's an electric forward in his prime. Eager to see what he's still got left in the tank here. Ball already out of play. There will be a Dortmund throw to be taken by Schmelzer. Surprised Dortmund haven't tried to get a few more balls into the box. That's better from Socrates there. Benfica to avoid the corner. When you've got the likes of Jan Koller up front, might be sending the ball his way each and every opportunity. Even if he can't jump like he used to, he's still probably towering above anyone else who can. Incredible career with Dortmund. His last 2 goals for BVB in the 2005-2006 season on match day 34 against Bayern Munich. Both headers, one in the second minute, one in the 76th, in a game that ended 3-3. Not a bad way to bid farewell in a Dortmund shirt. Doesn't get much better than scoring against Bayern Munich, that's for sure. Bender able to turn, head up, looking for options. This plays passed off the left shoulder, picked up by Saviola. There's time and space to work with here. Decides to slow things down. Free kick given away by Sven Bender there. Doesn't seem too impressed with the referee's decision, so a dead ball situation here. Mitch Langerak might be called into action. Chance to redeem himself. Straight into the wall. And the follow-up blocked by Pedro Mantoras, I think. No, seems to have come off a Dortmund player. Bender gets a right leg in the way. So Benfica with a corner. Just under a quarter of an hour still to go here. Not a bad delivery to the back post, but dealt with convincingly. Brought down by Socrates. Can't hold on to it though. Saviola with some tricky feet, but Jan Koller getting stuck in. Big number 9. Not quite heroics in goal, but defending is part of his repertoire as well, it would seem. Zidane just trying to nick it past Ljubomir Fejsa. The Serbian defender does well to get there ahead of the Egyptian. Ragunis lines up the shots. It's well collected by Langerak. Again, just comes skimming off the surface right in front of the Australian shot stopper. He's positioned well with his body behind the ball. Bender carries it forward, brings Lee into play. Antonio Silva, he lines up the shots. Easily blocked in the end though by Andre Almeida. Again, there is space out wide on this right wing. Well, to be fair, you probably have to say Benfica deserve their lead. Being the more dangerous going forward, found it a little easier to create goal-scoring opportunities as BVB go looking for a free kick here. Was there contact on the player or on the ball? That's the question. In the end, no decision. Less than 10 to go. Looks like Karl-Heinz Riedle getting ready to come on with Leitner. Chance here for the equalizer. What a save that is by Bruno Costa. To deny Nelson Valdez. Once the number 9 was in on goal, picked up beautifully by Mohamed Zidane. I thought he was going to bury that one in the back of the net, as he's done so many times before in a Dortmund shirt. And credit to Bruno Costa, he's quick off his line, makes himself big enough to just get something on that and send it out of play for a corner. So Leitner now out on the pitch. I do believe Karl-Heinz Riedle out there with him. 60-year-old Karl-Heinz Riedle. Zidane to whip this one in from the far side. Got a height on it. Jan Koller, the intended target. But Socrates, unaware, the big man was just over his shoulder there. Once he realised, he almost put his head in his hands as to say, oh God, why didn't I leave it to big Jan Koller? Although you'd think Jan Koller is always the intended target with balls into the box from dead ball situations. Perhaps Socrates didn't get the email. Koller heads it on. Riedle unable to get on the end of it. Socrates does well to win it back for BVB. Now the ball inside to Schmelzer. There's time and space to work with here. Wide to Valdez. BVB determined to try and get something on the scoreboard here. Schmelzer does well to stay onside. Floated towards the back post. Chance here. And it's a penalty. BVB with a chance to level things up from the spot here. But is it a soft one? It looks to me like the ball is played. And the contact on the player is only after that. But then you have to say, Benfica were awarded a pretty soft penalty in the first half, and now the favour has been returned. So a chance here for Zidane to level things up, cool as a cucumber. Sends Bruno Costa the wrong way and slots it home to level things up at 1 apiece here. All square in the Rote Erde stadium. And it's Mohamed Zidane who scores from the penalty spots. Was there ever any doubt? The Egyptian magician leveling things up here, with time still left for a winner. Zidane was always a very cool, calm and collected customer in the Dortmund shirts. Cold as ice from the penalty spot, still got it. Spent 4 years with BVB, the 44-year-old, 2008 to 2012. Did play a lot of his football in Germany. Played for the likes of Mainz, Hamburg, Werder Bremen. Did end his career back in Egypt though, with Entag El Harbi in 2016. Silva with the cross, Valdez with the header. Slightly in behind, was always going to be difficult to guide that on target and generate any real power. Karl-Heinz Riedle at the age of 60, still out there doing his thing. Absolutely fantastic to see. Another player who spent 4 years in a Dortmund shirt, but you'd have to go back to the 90s to watch any of his highlights with Dortmund from 93 to 97. Popular character in this Legends team, apparently. Brought down beautifully by Zidane. He will have confidence running through his veins now after that equalizer. Oh, lovely little turn from Fernandes. Silvia, that one to Almeida. Lovely ball to pick out Valdez from Zidane. Arsen Valdez, perhaps a little too obvious in lining up that shot. Valdez with the foul on Fernandes. Carlitos Cunha. The foul on Socrates there, gets a bit of a stare down from the big Greek defender as well. Already has been some great link-up play between Antonio da Silva and Mohamed Zidane throughout this second period of play. Into the final minutes, Socrates goes lunging in. Gives away the free kick in a very dangerous area here. He's quick to apologise there. Andre Almeida on the receiving end of it. All smiles between the two. There's never been one to hold back when it comes to getting stuck in. Socrates. Nice to see some things never change. In the meantime, Benfica with a chance to clinch the win right at the death here, and it's into the hands of Langerak. And that will be the last kick of the game, as well as it ends all square here in the Rote Erde Stadium between Dortmund and Benfica. The two teams of legends putting on quite the show for everyone in attendance here, celebrating 100 years of the Rote Erde Stadium and remembering that epic European tie between these two back in 1963. So a fitting final score as they share the spoils. And for those of you who've enjoyed what you've seen here this evening, well, BVB legends in action again in just 3 days' time when they travel to Anfield to take on the Liverpool legends, including the likes of Steven Gerrard and company. So plenty of options to enjoy the international break. But hats off to everyone who came to enjoy the show here in Dortmund. Thank you to everyone who joined us at home, wherever you may be. We hope to see you again next time. It's been an absolute pleasure. And as always, stay safe and take care.
Ergebnis, was es heute Abend zweite. Wir werden wirklich tollen, wunderbaren Fußballabend zu Ehren des 100-jährigen Geburtstags des Stadions Rote. Von Benfica, aber von Borussia Dortmund in Wien auf sich genommen haben, um heute in Ihrem Abend dabei zu sein, aber auch ein riesiges Dankeschön an euch alle, dass ihr hier wart. Jetzt sind wir nochmal zu reden, eure Regeln trotz habt, um hier eine tolle Atmosphäre zu zaubern, dass wir uns wirklich gerne an der Bundesliga Applaus machen. Vielen Dank, das war euer Applaus. Und nach Hause,
Benfica.